Talking about money can be a pretty taboo topic. But as I came from the finance world and then moved into the adult industry, taboo conversations about money are my bread and butter. I've been a top 1% earner from both OF and my past job in investment banking. So today, I want to look at this from a different perspective of how we as creators on OF compare to both everyone in our industry and also everyone outside of it. I'll be breaking this down into 3 parts: average, top 10%, and top 1%. But a quick disclaimer. Even though we all know the drill that comparison is a thief of joy and it's not about the race with others, it's about our own journey and blah blah blah, we've also got to keep in mind that these numbers are revenue and not profit. And what really matters in terms of reaching financial independence is how much we're able to save, not how much we earn. But despite knowing all this, you're still here. You clicked on the video. So let's indulge a little and find out, shall we? How much does the average girl in OF make? At the 50% mark, the average monthly earnings is about $150 to $180 a month, which is an annual salary of only $2,000. You're certainly not going to be living it up on that, and if you ask me, that's a pretty low amount of money to be showing your body online for. But I think that's important to note that most people who start on OF just quit.
Ding, 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 ding. I quit.
Think it was going to be some sort of get-rich-quick scheme and not realizing the hard work involved in being successful on the platform. The people at this level are also very unlikely to be doing OF full time, like you would be if you were working a normal job. I've said this before, but it's not like running a spicy Instagram account. This is a whole ass business and will be a lot of work. And passing that average figure with some hard work is a very, very reasonable expectation to have in your first month. I personally made it to the top 1.6% in my first 30 days, and if you want to see exactly how much I made and hear more about my experiences, I have a whole video on the topic. If we look at the general public in the UK, estimates for August 2023 indicate that the median salary is $27,000 or just over $34,000. Using median over mean is a better indicator of averages when discussing salaries because it stops outliers or anomalies from swaying the results. If we take a look across the pond in the US, they are making an average salary of $54,000, which is over $20,000 higher than over here. If you're going to be average, then I would recommend doing it with a normal job. Things get more interesting when we start looking at what it takes to be in the top 10%. On OF, you'll be earning about $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. These percentages are pretty volatile as they update daily based on how much everyone is earning. But from my experience, coaching almost 20 girls now, this is where a lot of them started when they reached out to me. They mostly were all working full-time jobs or had children they were looking after and using this as extra income on the side. I personally think if you made it to the top 10% on OF, you should now have an idea of what it's all about and if it's really for you. You've probably started getting a couple of things right here and there, and it's time to double down into learning your craft and business and work to get yourself into the top 1%. To be in the top 10% of payroll earners in the UK, you will have a monthly take home of £5,000 plus before tax. Annually, that is £64,000 plus or just over $80,000. That is over double the average and already something unachievable for most people.
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
If you're making this amount of money, you should be proud of yourself. But now, for the kick in the teeth, the US equivalent of the top 10% is $173,000 plus US. To be in the top 1% of earners on OnlyFans, you currently need to be making a net revenue of around $14,000 a month, which is $168,000 a year. Personally, I reached this all around 400 subs on my OnlyFans, but I've also met girls with 600 subs struggling to make a 5k month. I think what's most eye-opening about the $168,000 a year is that it's less than what the top 10% make in the US. Looking at the top 1% in the UK, we're left with around 300,000 people. And to be here, you'll need to be making a £15,000 plus a month or $181,000 plus, which is about $227,000 plus US annually. In the US, to be in the top 1%, you need to be making a staggering $819,000 plus a year. So, OnlyFans isn't the highest earning thing you can do as a UK or US resident, but if you live in a low income country, this could be really interesting and a unique way to have the opportunity to earn amongst the top 1%. For example, if I move back to the Philippines, the top 1% locally would only be making about $30,000 a year. To get into the top 1% through investment banking, I had to study and work for 8 years. And not just that, I had to get the best grades at the top uni, get the right internships, somehow learn a job, and then prove myself at work time and time again, working crazy hours. In contrast, it took me under 2 months to make it into the top 1% of OnlyFans creators, and I now earn between 30 to 40k a month, and I'm just 7 months into my journey. What I'm really trying to say is, I think the other thing we have to take into account is who is your competition? Because trying to get into the top 1% of earners in normal society demands a certain caliber of person. You often need the right education and to have picked the right career path. And of course, you need a fair amount of luck too. If we're talking OnlyFans on the other hand, you might find that your biggest competition is a bunch of 18-year-olds that have youth over you. Or maybe you are one of them, but they're unlikely to have built up the right level of business acumen that you would be competing against in the corporate world. The biggest difference between the average salaries discussed and the OF earnings is that in one instance, you're running your own business and can dictate your terms, and in the other, you're working for someone else. The highest earners in society tend to be business owners, entrepreneurs, and CEOs. And some of the top earners on OF are making tens of millions a month. They are the exception, not the rule. But the ceiling is much higher being your own boss. And you get to really grind at something and see your hard work pay off, as opposed to working hard all year, hoping to get a pay rise or promotion working for someone else. I like to joke that running an OnlyFans business is somewhat like being a drug dealer. Sex and drugs sell themselves, and so in a way, you're basically starting a business on easy mode. You can learn skills here that you can later use in a harder business to start, if that's what your goal is. Things like understanding your financials, managing a small team, and marketing are very transferable skills. Even analyzing your data and making corrections to how you operate will serve you in any business you decide to start later, and there are hardly any upfront costs needed to get started. If you do want to start, I have a referral link on my website and offer a free coaching session to anyone who uses it. If you're already started and want some coaching, you can find that on my website too. But I recommend you all start by watching how to pass 10k a month on OnlyFans and my Reddit guide first, as they are both jam-packed with useful information.